Section 190 of the Nigeria Tax Act has a very interesting provision. The provision borders on artificial transaction. And today we are going to look at what that means to your operations and your tax affairs generally in Nigeria. Oladejo Adeyemi is my name, and this is Insight with Oladejo. If you look through that section, it provides verbatim, clearly, that where a relevant tax authority is of the opinion that a disposition is not giving effect to. Now, I'm going to pause there because this provision presupposes that the relevant tax authority may be of an opinion. It doesn't have to be the fact. It doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to be the actual transaction. An opinion of the relevant tax authority is just sufficient. And what is the opinion? That a disposition of the taxpayer is not giving effect to, or that a transaction which reduces or may reduce the amount of tax payable is artificial or fictitious. It may disregard it. The it there is referring to the relevant tax authority, may disregard any such disposition or transactions, or direct that such adjustment be made with respect to tax liability as it considers appropriate, as the relevant tax authority deems fit, to counteract the reduction of the liability to tax and issue an assessment or additional assessment accordingly. Now, that was me reading that provision out for you verbatim. Having said that, what does this mean to you? This means that regardless of all of the schemes you might have done, whatever arrangements you have had, whatever nomenclature you have given the transaction or the transfer, the tax authority may be of the opinion that the transaction that you have done you have done it in such a way that it has reduced the taxes that should have been attributable to that transaction. And to that extent, the relevant tax authority is empowered by law to be able to disregard such disposition or disregard the consequence of such transaction to the extent that it can counteract the impact that it may have negatively had on your taxes. What this means literally is that the tax authority is empowered to be able to say, I don't agree with you on this transaction. And to that extent, even though I don't have any fact to prove it, because the law says they may be of the opinion of the tax authority in this matter suffices. However, to balance that power such that it does not become absolute, the law further provides that the provision guiding objection and appeals under the Nigerian Tax Administration Act will also apply to a direction made under this section. You know, if you are familiar with the objection process, where the tax authority have then opined that they do not agree with your disposition or any particular transaction, you have not lost the right to be able to contest that opinion. But for the fact that this balancing provision is introduced into the tax law or is made as an adjoining or subsection of this particular section, the powers of the tax authority would have been absolute. The law further proceeds by defining what disposition is that it could include trust, grant, covenant, agreements, or arrangement of any kind. And it could also be transaction between connected party such that it shall be deemed to be artificial or fictitious if, in the opinion, again, of the relevant tax authority, the transaction has not been made at arm's length. This further buttresses the need for entities and individuals to be very circumspect in their judgment. Be sure that you are following the provisions of the new tax law quite succinctly, and you are not unduly exposing yourselves and your businesses and your operations to undue risk that may materialize from the tax authorities exercising these powers that have been enshrined in the provision of our law. Again, Oladejo Adeyemi is my name. I'm that guy who has taken his time to review the tax law so that you don't have to spend as much time doing so. Until I come your way again, continue to like, continue to share, continue to engage. Keep your comments and your questions coming my way, and I'll keep doing my best to ensure I provide clarity to them. Bye for now.